Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome back to episode 68 of the Groupchat Wrestling Podcast. I am Dan, currently Danby Allen on this software, which you won't be able to see. Alongside that, our American hero, that ball bro Brett, and Lucy, Brandon Cutler's #1 fan. And this week we're diving headfirst into AEW WrestleDream from St. Louis, a show that gave us killer matches, chaos, and a main event that's divided the internet harder than Sarah Stock's moral compass. We've also got a few spicy side dishes really quickly as well. Ace Steel has a crusade against Moxley for some reason. Sarah Stock has sort of killed whatever semblance of credibility she had left. And the small matter of WWE apparently hiring ChatGPT to write SmackDown, let's be honest, it's better than Road Dogg, and more. So strap in, grab a drink, and let's talk about WrestleDream. That should have ended probably 5 minutes earlier, but we still loved it. What do we all think of WrestleDream, guys?
Wait, before we do that, I think we need
sorry.
to address the elephant in the room. Okay, this is quite sad, but I think that we just need to jump right in and say it. You've probably noticed there's only 3 of us right now on the show, where sometimes there would be 6. And I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but Mark accidentally saw the main event to WrestleDream and has drowned Mike and Andy in a fish tank. So yeah, we blame AEW for this, and we will be taking immediate legal action. So yeah, thoughts and prayers to the families of Mike and Andy who died screaming in a fish tank.
If only they changed the channel. If only they turned it off
there'd been a warning
at 12 midnight.
Saying don't drown people in a fish tank, because how else would you possibly know not to do that?
I blame their mothers, because apparently it's the mother's responsibility to make them not watch a pay-per-view past 1 a.m.
drowning people. Yeah, so, but that aside, I fucking loved WrestleDream.
Oh my God.
It was absolutely brilliant.
Wasn't it fucking...
It started on a high. Can we talk about that first?
It did. I mean, like, look, I don't think there was certainly with the tailgate brawl, which led into it. I think, like, again, it was kind of like your WBD obviously kind of like had some involvement in the tailgate brawl name. So starting with like that 8-man tag was quite ballsy, I thought, especially considering like the crowd like weren't fully in there yet. But I mean, I was immediately smiling, like, because we got like probably one of the best uses of the conglomeration. Like, did you see that entrance video and the music? Because my God, like, what a great idea.
90s sitcom vibes. I would watch the fuck out of that show, honestly.
It was fantastic. What a great idea. It's like go on.
They sent me with Tomohiro Ishii on the piano. That got me. I'm like, I could see that being, yeah, why not? That's just wholesome. That's family values right there. I mean, who wouldn't love that right there?
I would watch it. Like, it feels like it should be airing on like.
Meet Tomohiro Ishii.
Oh,
he's finally got a name. There we go.
There you go. Done.
I'm trying to name him up for
but
weeks
I
now.
really like how they've got like Roddy Strong like doing his little pouts, like say I'm not being a part of this, but he loves it really. He loves it really.
He loves it. He's the grumpy old dad that just wants to be forced to join in.
Oh yeah, but he's there begrudgingly, or at least so he claims. But actually, he loves all of them, and he just won't admit it.
Yeah, he just acts like a grump. He's the Andy of the group, honestly.
That check that clears.
No, but it was it was a good match to start. I thought it was again, like someone said it the other day about how both Pac and Orange Cassidy have recently come off pretty bad injuries. The fact that they sort of and they were one of the first sort of big feuds that AEW had, like certainly during the pandemic era. But the fact that they still 5 years later still have such great chemistry is quite astounding. If anything, it's gotten better, I find. Loved it. I thought it was a great way to start the show.
Absolutely incredible. But it was more how they started WrestleDream, like they carried over from the tailgate brawl. Has anyone ever done that before?
No, not to my recollection at all.
No.
And I remember, it was just me and Lucy were watching live.
I value my
this was fucked up to bed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Then I think I texted. I was like, "It's only like 5 minutes left till the pay-per-view. Like, what are they gonna do here?" And then 1 minute, and then it just blanks. So I got to switch over to the pay-per-view because I'm watching on Max. And then the pyro goes off, and then freaking all four of them, FTR and
They're
Jesse,
still in the ring.
they're square. They're throwing down in the middle of the ring while the pyro's going off. I'm like, I don't remember a time in wrestling history that has ever happened. And I'm like, that's good. That's great. You know what? If you enjoyed the match on the tailgate brawl, you want to see more, buy the pay-per-view. That's an excellent marketing strategy, whether it was a WBD decision, whether it was a TK decision or whoever. I think that's great marketing
great
right
marketing.
there.
God, yeah. More pre-shows
It's a
should
great
end on a
teaser right there.
cliffhanger.
Like, you want to, and it's funny. It kind of gave me like a Dragon Ball Z vibe. Like when you get to the end of the episode, like they
the
just
cliffhanger.
the fight is just starting to pick up, but then it cuts up. Tune in next time to the new episode of Dragon, and then boom, you got to buy the pay-per-view to see the main dish. And then it turned out to be one of the better tag team matches in the entire year. I mean, it was just excellent. I mean, it's FTR.
Until later that night, let's
more on that.
Be honest here.
It was one of them. I agree with everything that you said. I think that it was such a really clever way to start the show because I can't recall when that's happened. I've known pay-per-views to start when like participants in the opening match of the pay-per-view were already like in the ring because they'd made their entrances on like the 0 hour or something. That was at All In last year.
All In last year. Yeah. It was a three-way ladder match.
It was like the 14 ladder match, and that's why Christian's music in the arena was playing for like 7 minutes because they were waiting to go from the 0 hour to live, and then they were just waiting for that to finish, and then they started. No, but this one was genius, and it was a great match as well. Like, I'm going to go back and rewatch it because I think I was quite consumed with the fact that obviously I was a bit conscious of the time. Like, obviously we're used to things going off really quite smoothly and seamlessly, but so I was sort of half paying attention to the quality of the match. But I'm going to go back and rewatch it. But what I did see when they went from before the streams changed, I liked, but now that I've got that out of the way and it's not going to distract me from the match, I'm going to go back and rewatch it because, I liked what I saw. And by all accounts, it was one of the better ones that either team have had this whole year. So, that's high praise.
Oh yeah. For matches to rewatch though, come on, it was the opening match.
Oh God,
it was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. Tag match of the year for me so far because that
wasn't the opening match. That wasn't the opening.
Oh no,
match.
what was it? What was the opening match?
No, it was Tekla and Jamie Hayter.
Why did I think that was on the pre-show?
Because you must have fallen asluleep, Lucy. Evidently.
Must be it. Okay, well, we'll skip. Yeah. We'll do that one, and then I'm getting overexcited.
This was a great way to start. It was it had a quite a significant sort of like element to it because it was like the first like non-title women's match on pay-per-view since I think it was Britt Baker and Saraya a few years ago. And this like far exceeded it like quality-wise. Like, don't get me wrong, it's one of the things that we've been crying out that they needed to do, like AEW needed to do for a while, which is like build programs which don't revolve around like both titles, and they have done. Admittedly, not as like in a linear way as we would have possibly liked, but that doesn't change the fact that it still happened and they hit the ground running, basically. It was a great opening match. I know it wasn't technically the opening match because the pay-per-view started like halfway through one of them, but this was match one of the show, and like the great chemistry together, and I think the right winner won for me. I'd say Jamie needed the win more than Tekla, to be honest. Like we said in the preview show, how she's still undefeated in singles action, and this is quite a significant win for Hayter now, I think. And I know that's not technically a number one contenders match, but I would like to see Jamie go for the title again now, like one-on-one. But whether that happens or not, considering what happened later in the night, I'm not sure we're going to get. But personally, that's just what I'd like. What did you all think?
Go on, Brett. You go first.
Yeah, I love the match. I love the contrast of styles between Tekla and Hayter. Like in the middle of the match, you have Tekla like kind of trying to play mind games with Hayter. The spider pose, like just and I love the pacing of the match. Like, it was hard hitting, but they weren't going 100 miles per hour. Like, everything meant something, and I love the multiple spots on the outside by the barricade by the late I forgot her name, but the lady,
It was Charlie Thez.
Yeah, Charlie
late.
Thez on the outside. I love the interactions that the wrestlers had with her the entire night. But yeah, no, Hayter, I think definitely needed to win more right here. I don't think Tekla gets hurt at all because we have Blood and Guts coming up within the next month, so you have a chance to build her and the Triangle Madness back up. And I think the ultimate payoff will be in that match itself, where I think not just her but multiple others will come off looking better than when the match started off. But yeah, right winner. And man, it was, those last 5 minutes were physical as hell. They weren't like, I always use these baseball references, they weren't trying to hit for bunts or singles, they were going for home runs, the knockout shots on multiple occasions. I mean, but it's good to see Hayter pick up a big win. And I'm with you, Dan, like if and when we see later in the night where the women's world title direction is going to, but in the future I think Hayter's definitely due for a world title opportunity.
She never lost it. Like, I mean, she had to, she pulled a blinder, and, when she fought Tony on that pay-per-view, she was essentially not cleared, but she says, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to basically drop the title to Tony. It was like a squash, but she still did it. So she needs a rematch. I again, we talked about this at length. I don't want to go back down this rabbit hole, but I personally would have loved a singles like feud between timeless Tony Storm and the Jamie Hayter that came back in London. Because I think like they, the 4-way, obviously they teased it a little bit and maybe got glimpses of it, but I would have loved a world title program between the two of them. It doesn't look like it's going to happen now. Looks like they're both going to sort of go off and do their own thing like now, but maybe now actually, because of what we saw on Tailgate Brawl, another match we saw on Tailgate Brawl, which was about the women's tag, which was Harley and Willow versus Megan and Penelope. Did you see the post-match promo that Megan and Penelope cut after that? Because they said they're not done, but we will leave you in a pool of blood and guts.
Yeah.
Right? We're getting women's blood and guts. So I think if they're not going to be in the world title program now, if Jamie's not going to be there, then they're pretty much locks for blood and guts now. I would assume.
I would think so. Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people talking about blood and guts this week, and the prevailing opinion seems to be the men shouldn't get one, because the women should like have their moment. And I understand that. I really do. I'm one of the first to say that women should be spotlighted. But I don't think that the men being on the show would outshine the women. I don't think you need to say, no, keep the men away, let the girls have their moment. No, they will make their moment. Let the women main event, but let the men open the show. No, I don't think you need to have just the women's blood and guts, because if men were there, then that's what people would be talking about. No, fuck that. Now, put them both on. You've got the rings, you've got the cages, you've got it all set up. You might as well. It doesn't have to be the Derby versus Death Riders blood and guts. There is the option for Don Callis to fuck some shit up there. Throw his boys in a cage, if that's not where they sleep anyway. Not entirely sure they don't.
I think that's that carries some weight. I think, but we'll talk about the main event like later on. But it did feel like if they're gonna, it seemed like tonight, WrestleDream marked the end of that feud. It's symbolically, but whether there is another sort of arc that has yet to be unveiled, which we'll probably find out on Wednesday, which way it's going to go, if they are going to do a men's blood and guts. I personally would have done that with like Darby and a collection of like willing individuals to put their bodies on the line to die or get set on fire for AEW, but I don't know. Based on what happened, I'm not sure
looking like a coward on his own, though, which is what you need. But we'll get to that. No, we're doing the main event too early.
We'll get to that.
Spin on. We'll go to the next. Get to the next match. Come on.
The next match was the Lucy's favorite match of the night, which I can.
Now,
that's not even based on any kind of fact or knowledge. It was just an assumption because of who's involved. No, it was the 500k tag team match, which was Jurassic Express's return to pay-per-view, like in a match that is, against the Young Bucks. So can we first talk about that entrance for the Young Bucks? Because that, I don't think, got enough love based on what else happened on the night. Like, I thought that was a stroke of genius. Like, they're spending like 50 grand, like 50 grand on dinner. It's like...
I think it was like 60 grand or so, like on suits and sneakers and stuff like that. Like 90,000 on the casino, and when I think at the end of the expense report is like $32.17 left over. So yeah, they literally have nothing left. So that's why this match, like,
they could have had a sparkler each, couldn't now? What are they? £3? We didn't even try. Come on, Bucks.
I don't know who knows, but with the
Glow
tariffs over
stick.
here, but yeah, I mean, listen, this match was just amazing. Like, I don't like using the term like restore the feeling in 2025 because I always feel like, what happened yesterday is in the past. You always got to move on. But if there was ever a match, ever a time where the feeling felt restored, it was this match right here. And first off, even before the match, even when I'm talking about the match, like, it's just great to see Luchasaurus in the ring. Like, he's healthy, he's good, and he's back doing what he
Still
should be
bumping
doing.
like it's 2019 again. Like he's doing
Oh,
moonsaults
yeah, I mean,
and all
People
sorts.
forget that his name is Luchasaurus. Lucha. He moves like a luchador.
He wears a
Some of the
mask.
shit
He's
he
basically a
pulls out.
cruiserweight.
It's like fucking
Oh, yeah, he's a giant.
hell.
He's a Jurassic cruiserweight, pretty much. But yeah, this match was amazing. And if you ever if you ever needed a more reason that we are more back than ever, we got Jungle Jack Man. He's Jungle Jack Man. He's not Jungle Boy no more. He's grown up now.
He's growing up. Yeah.
Jungle Jack Man is out here flipping again. He's out here just jumping all over the ring. Like, I mean, he is in full form once again. I mean, it was just amazing. But both these teams have great, amazing chemistry. So we shouldn't have expected anything less. But I mean, this is just, if you want to get technical, the second tag team match of the night. I mean, that was the theme of the night. Like, when tag team wrestling and women's wrestling are at the forefront of AEW, it's really unmatched and unrivaled, and that's where their bread and butter is right there. But yeah, this match was amazing from start to finish. I think it was the right winners, in my opinion. The Bucks, they slide down further in the despair and broke Bucks storyline that they're going on right now. And now what I want to happen right now, they got that 500K. I need, whether it's a clip of BTE or whatever,
which is on like 20 minutes. Come on, talk fast.
In 20 minutes. I need them to take a good chunk of that money and work on the scapegoat bus and turn it into the Jurassic Express.
My bus.
Exactly. Green, yellow, green, red colors like Jurassic Park. And that's just have a giant chair where you can strap Luchasaurus into transport him to all the events and all the venues safely and sound.
They need to call Exhibit, if you ask me. He needs to make a comeback because we haven't seen him in a while. I don't think.
Need to pimp my ride.
Yeah, I mean, just tying on what you said, I completely agree. Oh, sorry, Lucy, but you're going to say something first.
No, go on.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
I've got so much to say about this match. You can't take it all.
No, sure. Yeah. I was going to say, like, it did feel like a true return to form for Jurassic Express. It felt like they hadn't really lost a step because them splitting off obviously was marred by sort of difficulties in their own way. Like, sort of, neither were sort of, I guess, going to become like main eventers as singles. So it felt like this was like Jack Perry at his best because he works really well, like in a tag team. Like, he and Luchasaurus just feed off each other like really, really well. I think personally, it felt like Jack was more comfortable doing what he was doing in this tag match than he was like in his singles run. I think that there was, for one reason or another, maybe there was just a lack of confidence or just something, but here he just exuded confidence and like, quality just in spades as well. And the Bucks can have a good match with absolutely anybody. And they clearly like working together. They complement each other very well. The Bucks as heels, especially, I think they just are natural sort of opponents for these two. I would love to see them run it back in another sort of 4 or 5 years again, like when their careers and directions and stories have gone in other different directions and then they've come back full circle. I wouldn't hate seeing them go at it again several times, but yeah, absolutely right winners. And I think the Bucks, they're clearly on a bit of a run right now, despite being like perpetual losers. I think that this is really complimentary to them as characters after, the sort of highs they were riding as EVPs for such a long time. So yeah, very, very happy with how this turned out. And yeah, like tag team wrestling was one of the kind of cornerstones of what made AEW special, because for years, American wrestling audiences, like mainstream wrestling audiences, that is, were not treated to what tag team wrestling could be. And I think AEW provided that alternative straight away. And it lost its way in the last sort of 12 months, but now it's really come full circle. And we've got, like I said, like the Bucks, you got Jurassic Express, you got the Hurt Syndicate, you got the Demand, you got the Ops, you got LFI, you've got so many more. I'm missing the Outrunners, obviously. Andy would hate that I didn't mention them first. Plus about 10 other tag teams in a division that is really stacked right now. And that's what we wanted. That's what we wanted for a long time. So happy days.
Yeah, and I want to just, you were talking about Jack looking a lot more confident, a lot more happy. There are still elements of the scapegoat in there. If you've seen that smile that he only got as the scapegoat, that little shithead grin that he has now and then, that's there, but it's now more sincere. And Jack Perry, he knows what he's good at, and when he's allowed to do what he's good at, he's one of the best in the world. And the crowd has just been desperate to cheer for them. We've wanted Jurassic Express, and we finally got it. Talking about the Bucks, though, one thing I do want more than anything else is I want Brandon Cutler to have bet against the Bucks again, to lose on pay-per-view, because if you've seen the previous episode of BTE, he doubled the money that they paid him by betting on them to lose, because they always fuck it up on a pay-per-view. I want him to have done that again, and I want him to walk in draped head to toe in pearls, because because he just keeps getting richer and richer betting against them.
Yeah.
That is what I want to happen.
It could be a case of when they turn to him, say, Brandon, can I have $20, please, for lunch? And he'll go on a power trip. He'll become like fucking CM Punk. Start making them do not CM Punk. That's hard. That's hard. No, like Don Callis.
Did you just compare? I want him off the show. That's it.
I said what I said. It was hard. It was hard. I take it.
I can't even speak.
Brandon Cutler needs to go on a power trip.
He does. But I was going to so before we move on to the next episode, we got to talk about the post match. What happened after the match? So after the match, you had the
before we do that. Can I just finish saying that the crowd in that match was incredible?
Yeah,
the crowd was amazing all night, but that was their absolute pinnacle when they started singing, "Oh, you've got no money."
Yeah.
At the Bucks. That was absolutely brilliant.
That was clever. It doesn't happen very
brilliant.
often, but St. Louis came up with a really good chant that night.
Well done.
Yeah, I mean, even I as the resident American on this podcast, even I can say, like, we don't have a lot of creative chants over here, but I mean, it took me a couple seconds. I think I messaged Lucy. I was like, oh my God, you hear what they're saying? Oh, you got no money.
Yeah,
like, okay,
and it was to the Crimea River tune, which it was magic. I loved it.
Yeah.
Brilliant crowd.
Yeah, the crowd was on the entire night. But I was gonna say, so before we move on, post match, it looks like Jurassic Express. They're trying to like maybe kind of build a truce with the Bucks. Like kind of, I think Jack Perry was trying to offer them money, but then Don Callis
the tenor.
Yeah.
Don Callis family comes out.
I buy friends too, Jack. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't spend it all. Don't spend it all at the casino.
I bought my way onto this podcast. It's fine.
You did.
You did. I love the Jordans, by the way, Lucy. Thank you for bringing them to me.
You're very welcome. They're absolutely not fake at all.
No.
Oh boy.
They're not Temu at all. No.
Right.
So the post match.
Yeah, the Don Callis family come out for the beatdown afterwards. It was Alexander, it was Rocky, and Lance Archer as well. And then of course, Big Pop Omega comes out to thunderous roar, and he runs into the Bucks on the ramp, and he's trying to encourage the Bucks to help out, and the Bucks they're like they don't want to jump in, but they don't want to help also. So that's a bit of a tease right there. Maybe an elite reunion is down the line. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that progresses. But the segment ends with Omega and Jurassic Express clear out the Don Callis family. So clearly that's the direction that they're going right there. Maybe that is the men's match for if there is a men's blood and guts match. Omega, Jurassic Express, and maybe the Bucks as well against 5 members of the Don Callis family. We'll see how that goes potentially. But something to look forward to right there.
I think if they're gonna do that, they need to kind of act quickly, because Blood and Guts is on the 12th of November, and I think. I mean, I know we talked about this already, but like the women's one feels like we're starting to get an idea of who's going to be involved. And I think if you're going to do one for the men, which I'm all for, like, I mean, I'm not saying I don't want one, but I think it's not clear. Like, if you're going to do a Don Callis family one with Kenny tagging with the Bucks again and Jurassic Express, it feels like the Bucks are going to probably have to do some either turn face or they're going to have to.
It's too soon for the Bucks, isn't it?
It does seem a bit.
They could come and help at the end of Blood and Guts.
Or they could just tag with 3 of Callis's boys against Omega, Jurassic Express, and 2 others.
Get paid to do it.
Yeah. So do it, and we'll pay you.
If it's too soon for the Bucks, then you can also throw in Brodito in there as well, because they've had their run-in with the Callis family the past month or so, and we will talk about it later in the night. That tag match, which Lucy, all due respect, that was this match. The Bucks and
you're not telling me
the Bucks and Jurassic Express was I think your match
was better than this.
We'll get to it later. We'll get to it later.
Excellent, and it was the second best tag match I've seen this year. But
how about this? How about this? At the end of we'll both after this we'll both go on our Twitter. We'll put polls up on which tag match was better. Okay?
Yeah.
We'll settle in the streets.
Let me down, Twitter. Okay. After everything I've done for you, bitches.
Just make sure that if you go back and watch the matches, make sure that you're watching it. So make sure you're watching it with parental guidelines on, so you don't see any of the excessive violence.
Accidentally, yeah. I mean,
tread carefully.
Explain to your children that they should not be befriending a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing that was excessive about the next match was the excessive baldness that happened in the next match, the Tornado Trios match between the Hurt Syndicate and the Demand. So I understand that, we had a few complaints about like some of the stipulation matches that they were kind of underwhelming, but we did find out either later in the night or the next day that due to St. Louis commission, sporting commission, athletic commission, that there was no brawling allowed in the crowds. There was no bleeding, no blading, or just not a lot of weapon use.
Yeah.
So that's why if there were certain spots or craziness you were expecting, it's out of AEW's hands, it's out of TK's hands. I mean, at the end of the day, he's got to abide by the city and state laws. It is what it is.
I only learned about that. It's still kind of strange to us that you have different laws in different states.
Every city and state has their own athletic commission with their different set of rules and whatnot. I mean, it was why like the UFC took forever here in New York City of all places. I think it wasn't until 2014, 2015 that the UFC was legalized to host events here. It was always in either Vegas or Atlantic City or like down south, but it's stupid in my opinion. And even Sean Ross Sapp put out a good tweet saying keep the athletic commissions out of professional wrestling, but it is what it is. I mean, I thought the trios match was good. I think for what they were allowed to do, I think it was pretty good. Even in defeat, I still think guys like Bishop and Toa come off looking great. I mean, I think you could tell that Lashley and Benjamin, they love working with
100%.
those two. Because I thought it was great. And then it's just, you got to remind yourself when watching this match that Shelton Benjamin is 50 years old.
No,
and
don't lie to me.
He's doing the damn stuff. Like that leap over the top rope. It's like you could rewind back to 2002 when he's debuting on Monday Night Raw. It's freaking ridiculous. And
Shelton he's what, 50?
50 years old.
Shelton Benjamin is older than me, and he's doing that. I sneezed funny yesterday, and now I can't look left. And he's flinging himself over that top rope. No, it's not true. I don't believe it.
He defies logic.
Shelton Benjamin had a son 20 years ago that he has kept hidden until now and has released him.
He's been cryogenically frozen to be like the spitting image of Shelton Benjamin from 20 years ago.
He's got a portrait in the attic somewhere looking pretty fucking dodgy, is all I can say about Shelton Benjamin. Sorry, I'm not convinced you're 50, dude.
No, I refuse to accept that a 50-year-old can be as powerful and as strong as that. It's quite something. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with everything you said, Brett. Like, this match was good for what they were allowed to do. I think going into it, obviously, it felt like a bit like, are we running this back again so soon after a street fight? And then it kind of made sense with the added stipulation that the winners would go on to fight the trios champions. So I'm glad that they added that.
We said that, didn't we? That adding a stipulation was what was needed for this match. So obviously Tony Khan's watching this show.
Evidently he is. So
he does.
Tony, please tie off, the story involving the Hurt Syndicate and MJF, because I feel like that's a massive like gaping hole that needs to be filled. We need some kind of clarity on what MJF still. I still think he owns the Hurt Syndicate in kayfabe. I still think that whole thing when they did he and Mark Sterling signed the contract. He said, "I am now the," and then he got interrupted. I still think we need to visit that back. Because the ADHD and the OCD brain in me is getting itchy at the thoughts that...
And also, Tony, can you please tell Don Callis that athlete has 2 syllables? Because every time he's on the commentary, athlete.
He does say athlete.
He's an elite athlete. But he also said on commentary, he keeps talking about the genetic superiority of his guys. And I'm like, I'm a little concerned that Don Callis is trying to breed a master race of wrestler. He's keeping these guys all in one house, talking about their genetic superiority. I'm worried that there are babies involved at this point.
He's clearly like force feeding them like all sorts of chemicals so that they just get like they're basically unbeatable, with the exception of like Lance Archer and Rocky Romero, because they're the ones who only seem to take the falls. But I digress. Yeah. Lance Archer's just blessed, and Rocky just evidently he needs to have somebody who can like take a pin. Anyway, going back to the match, I thought, I agree. I thought it was good for what they were allowed to do. I think that now it feels, I was expecting the Demand to walk away the victors. It felt like it was kind of more their time, but the Hurt Syndicate are like still crazy over.
Makes
like
sense later on. That the babyface team won.
Oh, I am so fucking excited about that.
Yes.
Oh, I cannot wait for Wednesday.
I'm scared.
God.
I just want to say lastly about this is that the GOA stock has risen like massively. Like Ricochet's was already pretty high, and I think like them together like have good chemistry alone, but like the GOA especially have benefited massively from working with the Hurt Syndicate. I think if you would have asked me about them 2 years ago, I would have said, don't really care. But now I'm kind of interested to see where they go. I wouldn't. Bishop Corn like put up a thing saying put me in the C2. I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think like the dude's come on leaps and bounds in the last like especially the last like 6 months, but the last like 2 years, like he and Toa have like really really improved a lot. And I'd say a lot of that is due to the Hurt Syndicate. So I said
definitely. Yeah, I have got one little complaint about the match. And it's about the Hurt Syndicate. As good as they are, I can't help feeling like it would have been massively improved if Bobby Lashley had come to the ring to a J-pop song dressed as a samurai carrying an anime body pillow. Just to show his appreciation for Japanese culture. They didn't do that, and honestly I think that let it down. And could we maybe get some good writers in there? Make these suggestions to Tony Khan.
I think that there's a good writer available for hire. His name is Claude, and he's brothers with Gemini, I believe, if that helps. So maybe give them a call. See if they're hiring.
Another reference I don't get. Okay. What else did we have going on?
So
I'm showing my age.
These are pretty new actually. But the next one
I'm the oldest person on this show.
The next one was the TNT title match. It was Briscoe and Fletcher 5. And you know what? Normally when you see like series of matches that go past 4 or 5 matches, you kind of think, you've seen one match. No, I honestly think that we have seen different matches from both these guys in the past, year and a half, and they did not disappoint tonight. And like, listen, if and when Briscoe does win either the TNT or the World Heavyweight title, whatever it is, that pop in that arena, whether it's on Dynamite, Collision, or pay-per-view, is going to be massive, because I think we've said it on the podcast numerous times, and I'm sure a lot of people also said it. He's the Mick Foley of the modern day era of professional wrestling. It doesn't matter whether he wins or loses; he will never lose the love and admiration of the fans and the people in the locker room. But it was just another great match. But one thing I love about this match, even before it started, I don't care which promotion it is, I love pay-per-view exclusive wrestling attire. And Kyle Fletcher coming out with that black and pink like attire, the trunks, the wristbands, the elbow guards, all that. picture perfectly. Because here's the thing, like I love the whole pink attire he does, but I would like for him to switch it up every now and then. Like Bret Hart used to do either all pink or pink and white or black, white and pink, like, you know, alternating here and there. But I wouldn't mind at all if this is just a pay-per-view exclusive attire. A couple others that I think of at the top of my head, Seth Rollins' 2015 SummerSlam against John Cena, where he wore the all white attire, which is funny. I heard a story that Vince hated that attire because Seth was a heel. Seth was a heel, so I guess he didn't like the fact that he was wearing something I guess like the fans would like or whatever, but Vince is fucking weird, so that shouldn't surprise us. Or it was also Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 26 against The Undertaker, that all white, like, heavenly introduction. No, I think it was 25, actually, one of those two. But
I thought you were going to say that brown monstrosity you wore once.
What was that?
Like the Shawn. You're talking about Shawn's exclusive gear. Do you not remember that brown monstrosity he wore that one time because nothing else was ready?
It was at SummerSlam 2003. It was in the Elimination Chamber match, that all brown, the brown trunks. Yeah, it was.
Did you eat cage match, Brett?
I mean, well,
do you know?
But once you mention the trunks, like I was like, oh god, that Elimination Chamber match. I'm like, yeah, that was disgusting. Okay. But no, this match was amazing, and it just continues the track of Kyle Fletcher on just a superstar level. And for those of you that know, like, last weekend was the 1-year anniversary of Kyle, like, turning on Ospreay at WrestleDream last year and joining Don Callis. I mean, he's the most improved wrestler of the year. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he is everything that you want in a professional wrestler as far as the look, the presentation, in ring, outside the ring, on the mic, whatever you want to come up with. And like I said, he's only 26 years old. He's a future
world champion. He will be AEW world champion one day.
We are about to get 10 years of Kyle Fletcher and Konosuke Takeshita duking it out for best wrestler in the world.
Sign me up.
I couldn't pick a winner. It's amazing. We've got this generation's Okada, Omega sitting right there, because currently it's Ospreay, isn't it? I think Ospreay's on the minute
on his own sort of, you know, wavelength, to be like, he's on his own level.
But for the future, it's between these two. And absolutely, I loved Kyle's gear. I thought it was amazing. There's only two people I have heard say that it was the wrong ending. One is me. One is Simon Miller. I wanted Mark Briscoe to win. Kyle could have taken it back, and I was so sure when he hit the J Driller. I was convinced, because I didn't notice how close to the ropes Kyle was. I was convinced that was it.
Is that when he put his finger on the rope? Didn't he put his?
And when I realised that wasn't it, I was so gutted. I was devastated. I really wanted Briscoe to win it. I understand why he didn't, but just personal preference.
That's why he's the Mick Foley of this generation. Is because you want him to win, and you want him to get his moment. He will get it. I am convinced that he will either get like a 1 to 2 week run with the world title, or he will be the one to dethrone Kyle Fletcher. At least, yet to be convinced otherwise. I think he will. You know, maybe in like 6 months or whatever, when, you know, Kyle has been like literally everybody. Mark Briscoe has like.
I think the first they wanted to throw on Kyle Fletcher will be Kenny Omega. Make him like is that 4 or 5 titles he's held now?
So Kenny's held,
having been the first to have held every men's title,
world title, tag titles, and trio. So he's a Grand Slam champion already. So he doesn't necessarily need it.
One he hasn't had,
but it's the one he hasn't had.
I think it's Kenny
and the Continental. To be fair,
Brett, who dethrones Kyle? Come on.
Oh my God!
You got to decide.
I have no clue. 30 names out of a hat in the space of 6 months.
Here's the thing: there's so many matches that he could have right now. I mean, you could throw him a one-on-one with Speedball, with Kevin Knight. I mean, there's so many other guys that he could work with. Like, I want him to go for. I'd say have him go all the way to Revolution next year. I think that might give him the longest title reign in TNT Championship history, if I'm correct. So I have to look that up. But what else? See, I love the fact that I have no clue, because that just shows you how stacked the mid-card division is. But I mean, I don't want his title reign to end anytime soon. He just keeps getting better and better. I mean, he's kind of like trying to his best, like step in that void of Ospreay being like that best bout machine, like that best TV wrestler out there whenever the bell rings. I mean, I have no clue who's going to take the belt off of him anytime soon.
I do think that it was the right winner. Personally, I'm going to obviously disagree with Lucy and Simon Miller here, but Kyle, it was way too soon for Kyle to lose the title. I mean, he was sort of deprived of that moment at All In because of the circumstances around that, with Adam Cole and the crowd being a bit deflated of him having to possibly retire, Dustin getting the crowd happy again and then losing it 2 weeks later. It made sense in hindsight. I do wish they would have given him that moment. It would have been a bit more impactful, perhaps, but especially considering who Dustin turned out to be, but that's neither here nor there. No, I think Kyle needs to hold this belt for a long time. He needs to be able to beat anybody, and convincingly, but slowly, depending on the trend, the trajectory of the Takeshita Okada story. I think we'll start to see where his allegiance lies, whether it's with Don Callis or whether it's with Takeshita, because I think that, again, more on that later, but that will be a really interesting arc for Kyle Fletcher's character for me, because right now he is just like this seemingly built like a Greek god. He's just like incredible in the ring. He does things that
Don
people
Callis
his
threw
age
him in a test
shouldn't be
tube. I
able
won't
to
be argued
do.
with.
So I think whoever beats Kyle Fletcher, the way it's going is gonna be given like a really big moment. That's why I wouldn't be upset if it ends up being Briscoe to dethrone him.
Can I throw out a name out there as kind of a long shot, but one who's gotten a lot of shine on AEW television? He's not an AEW wrestler. I say if they really want to make a splash, like,
I know
why not one of your partners
I don't.
down south, CMLL?
I know who you are.
I'm on a Masquerade.
Okay,
Masquerade versus Kyle Fletcher at Revolution. Oh, that would be a match of the year contender right there. And if I'm correct, like that would be the first. Yeah,
I got it. I've got one. Before we go on like a massive tangent, I want to say if depending on what happens on Wednesday, whether it happens this year or maybe middle of next year, depending on how their sort of careers pan out. Give me Shelton Benjamin versus Kyle Fletcher, because they had a match in the C2 and it was wicked. Run it back for the TNT title and give Shelton maybe his last singles run with the singles title. I'm not sure whether Shelton Benjamin he should be, because for me he's one of the better ones that they've got in the world title picture, but I'm not sure whether he's going to be given that grace.
No.
It feels like he should be
I don't think he
the
should,
step below. It sounds really hard to say.
I don't think we need 50-year-old ex-WWE guys in the world title picture.
No, I agree. I agree with that. I agree.
We don't. I'm sorry. I love Shelton Benjamin, but no more. Is it that we can't learn or we won't learn?
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
And I would say the same
Lucy, sometimes it's okay to right the wrongs in wrestling history, and Shelton not getting like a world title run, looking back in WWE, like not getting.
They didn't give one to Sting. They're not giving one to Shelton Benjamin.
No, I mean they never even got a chance with Sting. I think he only got like 2-3 matches. He gets hurt. He got hurt, and like I mean, can you imagine if
AEW didn't give it to Sting?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, can you imagine if his career would have ended right there, the way it did in WWE?
No, Shelton. People like Shelton, but a lot of them don't. They've only known him for 10 minutes. Not everyone that watches AEW is familiar with him in WWE. I didn't know what the Hurt Business were.
No.
So I like Shelton as a wrestler. I think he's great. I remember him from back when he was teaming with Charlie Haas.
Yeah, Team Angle.
That was my knowledge of him. Mm-hmm. So as far as I know, he's come out of the world's greatest tag team into the world title. What the fuck? So no, absolutely not. Sorry, guys. TNT, yes, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think TNT should be like the TV title, like the workers title, and Kyle Fletcher is doing a magnificent job at bringing it back up to that standard, which is what we for the last 8 months we've needed that to happen because of. I'm sorry, I mean no disrespect to Danny Garcia or Jack Perry, but it just wasn't happening when they were like TNT champions. Like again, I don't mean it's not a knock on their work, but it felt like that really wasn't what the TNT title should be. It should be defended very, very regularly. All sorts of challenges. But the champion,
it's their TV title, isn't it?
It's TV title. Exactly.
It should, however, be pink. Kyle.
Right now, it absolutely
should
be
pink.
Pink.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed we haven't gotten that.
Yeah. Anyway, well,
right. So next, we had the Women's World Championship match. Tony Storm versus Chris Statlander. And
can I go first with this to point one thing out?
Yeah, go ahead.
The entrance.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, where she wasn't showing her
black
red.
And white. There was
Mhm.
no red. It
Yeah.
didn't show her red lips. It didn't show her red shoes. She lost her colour with her title. And that just started me. I started the whole match on a down. I was like, no, Tony, my beloved. But
It's like
yeah.
when Shawn Michaels lost his smile, and
Oh
now
my
Tony Storm has
God.
lost her like color, her red.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tony Storm's
She's
better
lost
than
her
Shawn
camera
Michaels. But
filter.
anyway,
Which, yeah. Go on.
no, yeah, this was this was a very, very good match. It was in an awkward spot considering what it had to follow and what came after it. So I think they did do a really good job at holding the crowd. It was a tough one, so I think they would have they were at risk of the crowd sort of falling a bit flat, but they did really, really well to keep them like engaged throughout. So I'm glad that they're sticking to their guns with Statlander, hopefully this time, and actually like kind of giving her a bit of consistency in terms of her booking and stuff like that. Like Tony just creates magic wherever she goes. I think she can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, like a one-on-one match where Stat like finally beat her was the right call. Like I said, in my opinion, Tony winning it back would have felt again like a real slap in the face, kind of like she shouldn't have been dethroned in the first place if they were going to do that. So no, I'm really excited to see what happens here going forward. But to me, it feels like, well, let's get on the next match. Let's find out what we, anybody else got anything to add to this match? Then we'll talk about the next one. Then we'll talk about the direction that Tony's going to go in, because I think it's pretty clear.
So yeah, I'll just go skip to the ending. Stat has Tony Storm in the submission. I love that bit where, I mean, it was almost 2-3 minutes. Stat has her in that position, and it comes to a point where Tony Storm yells, "You're like, you're gonna have to fucking kill me. You're gonna have to fucking kill me." And she just cranked on that arm, like tighten up a little bit more, and finally get the victory. I love that little touch right there. And I love the embrace between the two, and like you said, it was the right call for Stat to win, because it would have been, like you said, a slap in the face if she would have lost like not even a month later after winning the title at All Out. But yeah, this is the right decision. Like I said, awkward spot, but they did get the crowd back the last 4 or 5 minutes in the match. But solid match all around. Like it was okay, but it was more important like the afterwards Stat celebrates and Mercedes music hits, and it's interesting. I like to set this up where Mercedes disrespects Stat, like, get out of my ring, and it kind of looks like she punks Stat, but we will come back to it after the match. We have the open challenge for the TBS title, and the challenger
I was not expecting who came out.
Yeah.
No, I'd have promoted that if it had been.
Yeah,
I mean, I'd have advertised that
would've.
in advance, but maybe they didn't know if she could be there. But yeah, I would have. If you have Mina on the show, you advertise Mina.
See, to me, going into this, when obviously she had the match on Friday where she won she defended the CMLL Women's title against Persephone, which, by the way, the match was wicked. By the way, it was very good. Just shows Mercedes and who she can work with. And then, to go from there to come to St. Louis in an open challenge, they had very limited time to sell the match. And then, but I thought they did a pretty good job of it, because there was a bit of like uncertainty. I think there was a few names that were floating around. It would have been like Athena, was one of them who was floated around. One of them was Shuri, because she was sort of, the red herring about her sort of not being on the Stardom dates this weekend. But I would not have predicted Mina out of a straw hat. You know what I mean? I would have never guessed it. But what we got was decent, because, they had a match in earlier this year, I'm pretty sure. And, they fought in Japan as well once or twice. And they work really, really well together. And I think it made a lot of people on the IWC upset, and that made me happy. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think the whole point of Mina, it turns out, was what happened after. She was there for a reason. Before we get to that, talking about Mercedes, she had to use the ropes to win. She cheated. She couldn't beat Mina fair. And I think we're going to see more of that until eventually she starts her downfall. She's not winning.
No, she
the world title.
I don't think she is. I think that's the one that she can't win, and that's going to eat away at her, and then she's going to lose everything. She will win it
eventually, but once it's her only focus. She hasn't got anything else weighing her down when she's just laser focused on her white whale. which is the world title.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's official. So obviously she beat Mina, and then Stat came out, confronted Mercedes later out, and we it's official, Full Gear for the AEW Women's World Title. It'll be Stat versus Mercedes. But like you guys are saying, well, even before that, Full Gear is the pay-per-view where a lot of wrestling
Rematches.
wrongs are righted in. It's the revenge pay-per-view in a sense.
Yeah.
So
It's where
if you remember,
big rematches tend to happen as well. It's happened
yeah,
with
we've had like
times.
Hangman Omega,
Mm-hmm.
and others in the past as well. But remember, yeah, it was Mercedes that beat Stat last year in one of the best women's matches you'll see. That she's actually beat her twice, but I
Mm-hmm.
think it's too on the nose with Mercedes, like the promo in the back, like I've beaten you twice, and
Mm-hmm.
like you should already see the directions going, because like you said, she will win that world title one day, but not until it's her only one. That's the one hurdle that she's
Mm-hmm.
not going to be able to get over just yet. It happened with Tony Storm at All In. It's going to happen with Stat again, and this will be Stat's like career defining moment. And her losing that world title may potentially start that downfall of
Mm-hmm.
Monet, like maybe losing each title one by one
Well,
by one.
She's at 12 now, because obviously going from St. Louis straight away, she went to Canada and defeated Jodie Threat for, was it the WPW women's title?
I believe so, yeah.
So she now has 12 belts. I know that two of them technically aren't like titles, because one obviously the Owen Hart belt, and obviously the Rev Pro is an undisputed belt, so there's technically
Southside
two of
one
them.
is
So, but the people who are sort of losing their minds over this, including 50-year-old women on Twitter with essentially Roman Reigns stan in their Twitter bios, which tells you all you need to know. Like people are getting irrationally angry over the fact that Mercedes is this successful, and for my money, she's on the run of her life. And she's also, nobody gave a shit about any of these independent wrestling promotions before she won the belt, and now they're claiming it's a problem. So that's a reflection on them and not Mercedes. But I love how she's leaning into them and saying the IWC gets mad every time I win a belt, so I'm just going to keep winning belts. So
they are mad. They are more mad and upset over the success that she has earned outside of WWE,
correct,
than her winning the titles in any of those promotions. None of all the haters, like, they don't give a shit about any of the promotions or any of the wrestlers that she's winning and taking the belts off. And what people don't understand is that, well, when it comes to hate in general, hate will blind you from seeing what's right in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
They don't understand that when she wins that title from that promotion, you know what that guarantees? That guarantees she's coming back to that promotion, to sell more tickets, to make that promotion more money and bring more attention and more to the promotion, and the wrestler that eventually will beat her will raise their stock in the future.
100%.
I said it last week, and I think I'll say it again this week. Mercedes Moné has done more for independent wrestling over the past year than WWE ID has done in its entirety. Like, like I said, everyone is more mad about her, the success that she outside of the machine of WWE, she has got all this success and all these accolades. That's all they care. They don't give a flying fuck about any of these other promotions, any of these wrestlers. Like, you have wrestlers all around the world. We see it on Twitter every day that are begging and pleading to wrestle Mercedes Moné. They want to accept the damn open challenges that she issues. Like, because guess what? It's not that the status that she's reached right now, that they just happened when they were younger, back in 2014, 15, when she was starting on NXT Black and Gold. That was their GOAT. That was their favorite wrestler growing up. So they want to wrestle one of their idols and one of the greatest of all time. It's not that hard to understand if you take a step back and get outside this hate that you have, this hate cloud that you have built around Mercedes. We always hear from these fake business associates on Twitter, like, what's the number one idea about a wrestling promotion? To make money, right? to sell tickets, to bring in crowds. That's what Mercedes is doing around the world, man. It's not about the damn belts. It's the attention she's bringing to these promotions and up and coming wrestlers, man. It's not that hard to fucking figure out.
I want one thing from anyone who is complaining about Mercedes Moné making these titles meaningless. She's taking championship opportunities away from young up and comers. Okay, you tell me with justification which member of the primetime wrestling roster you think should have been given this opportunity,
Yeah.
or which amazing up-and-coming member of, I don't know,
Best Year Wrestling, yeah.
Discovery Wrestling, who don't even have a cage match rating, by the way.
Yeah.
Which member of their roster,
Yeah.
who should have been given that title instead of
Which
Mercedes?
homegrown Best Year Wrestling talent?
Which homegrown superstar? You tell me. Go on, and don't go and look it up. Tell me which one has impressed you so much over the last year you'd have given them that opportunity over Mercedes. And you fucking can't. So shut your fucking trap and wind your neck in. You're only doing it because she's a successful black woman.
Exactly. Who's not in WWE as well.
Who's not in WWE. Yes.
Exactly. They cannot wrap their heads around that. The thing is, what Brett has said is absolutely 100% true, because we see it here in the UK. Rev Pro is probably our biggest independent wrestling promotion. So they have an edge over certain others, sure. But Discovery Wrestling is nowhere near the same level as Rev Pro is. And Mercedes is a champion of both of them.
I've never heard of them, and I'm an indie whore. If anyone's going to have heard of them, it'll be me, and I hadn't.
I mean, I hadn't really. I mean, I heard the name, but I hadn't. I certainly am willing to admit that I've never been to a show of theirs, but I've been to some Rev Pro shows. So when she won the title, I was there like, is it? So what she is doing is she's drawing more other people who have not heard of Rev Pro to potentially tune into the show.
Yeah.
And she's having great matches with like Kanji and Sapphire Reed and the Cutthroat Collective. And, people, she's giving people like who really admire her and who like really value her input. She's giving back to the scene, putting on great matches as she always does, but she's also selling tickets for Rev Pro. In the run up to Forbidden Door, she worked 2 shows. She worked 2 Rev Pro shows that same weekend. Granted, a couple of them had got announced pretty late because that's what Rev Pro tend to do anyway. But the fact that still happened probably sold a few extra, like 100 tickets or so, I'd say, across both days. So it's a business decision that is working in the promotion's favor, and it's also working in Mercedes' favor because she gets a payday from all these other promotions. So at the end of the day, if they're willing to spend money to make money, then they're doing business. So suck on it, basically. And fuck JD. Because, the stuff he said about her is atrocious, and it's no wonder why he doesn't have a job.
It might cheer him up a bit.
It's no wonder.
I will say, when Maleficent didn't get invited to a party, she just cursed a kingdom to go to sleep for 1,000,000 years. I mean, maybe you could consider that rather than whatever the fuck this overreaction is, because Jesus Christ, dude.
In it, just literally, just calm down, grab a glass of juice, put on a Cat Stevens record, and just chill.
Wank and a biscuit.
Yeah,
cheer
all that.
You right up.
Yeah, all that.
Bloody
Anyway,
hell.
So getting us back on track, I feel like we needed
after the match.
Yeah.
We were talking about that, weren't we?
So Mina and Tony lost their matches, but we saw Renee Paquette, backstage trying to get an interview with Tony, who just looked completely crestfallen. But Mina turned up and said, "But we have each other." And they cried, they embraced, and that right there sets the tone for a segment that we did have planned, which was later, confirmed later in the night before the main event, which was we are going to get the brackets announced for the tournament for the inaugural AEW Women's Tag Team Champions this coming Wednesday. We'll find out who it is, but just for the purposes of now, who do we think is going to be in the bracket? Because I've got some ideas, but go on, someone else hit me with some names and see if everyone else is thinking the same.
I mean, Bane and Ford, obviously. Megan Bane, Penelope Ford, Ty J, obviously. It was a dead giveaway. Tony Storm and Mina.
Yep.
And that's 3 obvious ones.
The Sisters of Sin.
Sisters of Sin, obviously that's 4 teams, and it's got to be more than 4, I would assume.
I think it's 4.
I think there are potential, other entrants in this tournament. I think you could, if she's okay to go now, I'd say Athena and Billy Starks could absolutely be a team in that, because they've been on AEW. I know they're Ring of Honor technically, but they've been on AEW before. People know who they are. I would say Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale, because if Statlander is insists, depending on how they sort of cross that off. Because Stat said, didn't she, I've got to focus on the world title, but I know a partner who you can tag with. So whether that is Willow, whether that's who she had in mind or not, that could be a little interesting direction. But hey, I know we talked about it, was it last week or the week before, about how Harley and Mercedes wouldn't go on this, because they have great chemistry together. Wouldn't be surprised.
Mercedes might be convinced by a shiny belt.
I mean, yeah, she does
Finally
love
team.
them. She is a fan of them,
Yeah.
after all.
She's like Don Callis with men.
It's like,
She can't say no. Just one more.
yeah.
Maybe
Just one more. It'll be my last
just
one, I
more.
promise. It'll be my last one.
Yeah.
She gets
I can
20
quit
of them.
any time. Okay, I think the 4. We are getting 4, and you can add more, but whoever wins needs some challenges to come in, and it shouldn't be people that have just lost in the tournament. So, yeah, Ty J, Penelope Megan, Tony Mina, and Sisters of Sin, and I have a T-shirt for this very occasion because I am going to disagree with both of you because I know you're going to say Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford should win it. No. Yes, they might be the best individual wrestlers, but they are not the best tag team. For me, a tag team needs to have been together for a while. They need to work well together, and that is why TJ should win this. So I'm wearing my Anna J shirt, even though it's an old one. It's an old code, but it checks out. TJ are my pick to win it, just because they're the only ones that have been established as a team for years.
They were the
now.
first women's tag team in AEW, weren't they?
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, no, they're not better wrestlers than Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford combined, but your champion shouldn't always be the best wrestler. It should be the best team. That's TJ.
See, yeah, I mean, we can argue about who wins, but I think they need to really build the tournament up to be important enough so that the winning team has not only that big moment and that really sort of, that history-making moment, but they need to have a clear path for the winner, like the winners. They need to kind of. What I've always been afraid of with women's tag titles is that they've never been executed that well. I mean, granted, the only time I've ever seen them properly is with like the Fed, and we know what they're like with booking women. But women's tag titles on that side of the fence have never been booked that well because they've just sort of said, okay, yeah, we'll give you these belts, and it's usually on a team that's been comprised of like 2 dwindling singles wrestlers with not much going for them. They hold the belts for like a few months and then they drop them to someone else, and that's it. I kind of want to see like the tag team element of these belts be like a cornerstone to like the team that wins them, and I kind of want them to.
That's why it should be TJ.
I mean, so TJ you make a good case for them, but I mean, to me, that Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford just to me are so entertaining. And I think Penelope Ford is deserving of her flowers because she was one of the first signees.
One of the most underrated wrestlers in the world.
I know. I
adore Penelope Ford. Brett, come on, who's winning this? It's TJ, obviously. Don't be wrong twice, Brett. You're losing on this poll, by the way. 69% are saying that.
You very like heavily like slanted towards, you influenced your pick.
That is a slanderous piece of libel.
You know
You'll be
you
hearing from my
back
lawyers.
to the topic at hand. I'm gonna be right in this instance, and I'm going Bayne to Penelope Ford. I'm going Bayne to Ford for the your inaugural women's tag team champions right there.
Sisters of Sin could take it as well. You could argue that they're an established tag team.
Mm-hmm.
I also think, I know we've not talked about this just on this episode, but to me, it feels like the women's tag titles would feel more important if they were defended across the promotions that they're like. I know that they're AEW belts, but it feels like you could spotlight a few of the other women's tag teams across like Stardom and CMLL and RevPro. Mainly because I want to see Lizzie Evo on AEW TV, to be honest with you. But
if we could have had Medusa Complex, damn it.
Well, we might still. It just might have to wait till.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it depends. Millie, now that she's kind of, she's got a bit of time on her hands, due to, while recovering from her injury, she should just, use the time to change her Twitter name first. That's a big hurdle cleared, and then, go from there. Then focus on getting better.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
Anyway. No, I'm excited to see, who's announced. I'm excited to see the tournament. I think, do we get the new champions crowned at Full Gear? Do we reckon? Feels like it's a good selling point for the pay-per-view. I think.
I think so. Yeah. Either that or World's End. I mean, World's End would be nice way to end the year, maybe. But I wouldn't mind Full Gear, as well.
Because Full Gear's a month away. I think it's about 4 weeks away. So that if you're going to have 4 teams, then you could do that over the course of 4 weeks. You have one match a week,
2 matches.
Yeah.
But if you are going to do more teams, then obviously you do need to possibly extend your deadline for.
No, the bracket shows 4 teams.
Does
So
it
I think
actually
that's
show
where they're
4?
going. Yeah. The one they
Okay.
put. Oh, well, it shows 4
4
2 on each
slots.
side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I only saw the one where it was just the one with the belts on it.
No, they've shown that it looks
Okay.
like it's 4 anyway, which I think is what they're doing.
Okay, fine. Well, either way, I would
Anymore,
like to
they'd have
see
to have 2 bloody women's matches on Dynamite, and we know they're not. So we'll stick with 4.
That's kind of, I'm living in
Let's not
blissful
push too
ignorance,
far.
hoping that they just book an 8-team tournament. So then, okay, well, we've got to fit 2 women's matches on Dynamite now.
We'll find out. We'll find out in a couple of days.
Calm down now. Calm down. Let's not ask for too much.
But just really quickly, just like for like 2 minutes, I want to just spotlight how this pay-per-view was very significant because this is the first time we've had 4 women's matches on a AEW pay-per-view. We had 1 on the 0 hour or tailgate, and we had 3 on the full card. Granted, I know that the builds for some of them weren't always, clear cut, and I know that there were issues, but that's progress, if you ask me. So I want them, going into like New Year's resolution that AEW should be to spotlight 3 women's matches on every pay-per-view because this one was one of the better ones. So there's clearly a sign. The more women's matches you have, the better the pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah. That and the tag matches as well. Speaking of tag Speaking of tag matches, we're going to the AEW World Tag Team Championship. And what I think is the match of the night, sorry, Lucy, is Brodito versus Takeshita and Okada. And this match went exactly how I expected it. I mean, this was amazing. And we finally, it's been teased for weeks, for months now. We finally got it. Well, it was at the end of the match, but we finally got Brody King out here doing the Macarena. It was beautiful. It was great.
It was magnificent.
It was cinema. I'm sitting in a chair. I can't rotate my hips, and I will not do that for the sake of our viewers. So it is what it is. So deal with it. But no, this match was amazing. It was great. But one of the things I was hoping for out of this match that we definitely got was progression between just the building tension between Okada and Takeshita. And you saw little glimpses of it like here and there in the beginning and middle of the match, but there's a spot towards the end where it's Bandito going up 1 versus 2 against Okada Takeshita, and Okada's trying to hit the Rainmaker on Bandito. He ducks, takes out Takeshita, and the biggest shit-eating grin you will ever see on Okada's face.
I've never seen him smile
First,
so much.
He said he's like sorry, but the big Joker shit-eating grin from ear to ear, then giving him the middle finger, so that will definitely come up. And then you see the look on Don Callis' face. He's like, he's finally realizing, hey, Don, there is an actual problem going on. You can't no longer ignore. But I mean, it was a great match from start to finish. I mean, Bandito, I think I told Lucy at the conclusion of this match, I'm done. I'm sold as of right now, October 20th, 2025. Bandito's my wrestler of the year.
Yeah.
He's my wrestler of the year because you remember he comes in with the shoulder issue hindering him, or that's how he's selling it on TV. The first 21 plex he fails because his shoulder's nagging him, but Brody encourages him to do it one more time on Okada, hits a one-armed 21 plex on Okada, pins him for the win, 1, 2, 3, and now this is only the second time on television that Okada's been pinned. So now he's going to get a unified world title match on Wednesday, Bandito versus Okada. But I mean, that's going to be fucking brilliant.
No,
Wednesday's going to be a great show.
Yeah, can I interject here? Like, I think this was a match which played into every single wrestler's involved strengths. Like, you had the Okada always deliberately works a slow pace to the start of his matches. Takeshita is just explosive from the get-go. Bandito is very much the same, and Brody King is just like a house on fire when he gets tagged in, and everyone pays attention. I think this match to me resembled various different sort of like styles like meshed together into like a melting pot of like really cool shit. So you had like brawls, you had like really awesome cool sequences, you had lucha spots, you had kind of strong style involved. But to me, I think what I really liked about it the most was not just because Bandito is like the greatest luchador in the world for my money. Like he's a wrestler, he's the best wrestler in the world currently active, if you ask me. Hot take there, possibly. Comment below if you disagree or agree. But for me, there's nobody currently on Bandito's level. But the thing I really liked most was when Brody was saying, Bandido, never quit, never give up. And that to me was like, he cares about his little Mexican buddy. You know, he really does love him. And that's why, you know, he's like, okay, we beat these, you know, two of the best wrestlers like on the planet. And so I'm going to give Bandido like I'm going to show a little vulnerable, sensitive side of myself, the jokey side of myself. I'm going to do the Macarena with you, buddy, because that's just who we are. And I'm so glad that they didn't like hotshot like the belts onto Takeshita and Okada, because I think whilst it would have possibly, you know, I'm not saying they couldn't have told a good story with it, with the story that they've got going on. I just think Brodido are one of like the success stories of this year. I don't think they were ever really meant to go together like initially, but the fact that they've really caught fire when like since the first time they've ever been paired together, they're really taking notice and riding this wave. Makes me wish they'd have done the same with the Outrunners like late last year, because that's when they were in this spot. You know, they were getting over, they caught fire, and it was the perfect time to just, you know, give them a tag run. But I'm glad that they've done it with Bandido and Brody. So yeah, like, and Bandido is now in you know, very, very esteemed company of people who have actually beaten Okada on AEW, pinned him. And that is Bryan Danielson, and that is Kyle Fletcher, and that is, and now Bandido. Like, he's one of three to ever pin him. And that shows high praise. And it, to be honest, it couldn't happen to a more deserving fella.
Absolutely, I agree. Brodido have proved wrong pretty much everything I said earlier about tag teams, by the way. And I will take that L because, yeah, they didn't need to be an established tag team to be amazing. But that was lightning in a bottle, and I don't think that's likely to be replicated. One thing I absolutely adored about that match, it had my favourite wrestling trope of all time, and that is nefarious heel doing nefarious heel shit and it costing him. It was when Okada, like things like Okada taunting Takeshita and it cost him his advantage. Like all the times that they do nefarious heel shit and they pay for it. And I think that's what's going to happen with the Don Callis family as a whole. That Okada just doing heel shit, being the little bitch that we know he is going to splinter the family. And I absolutely love that. I can't wait for it to happen. Do we think Takeshita's the one to go?
To me, it feels like they're setting him up for a babyface run, because he's getting those calls. He's been getting those sorts of reactions anyway, even though he's technically
signed to 58 million different companies. He needs to spend a bit of time in Japan. He is their world champion.
I think what's going to happen is Takeshita's going to spend a bit more time between now and Wrestle Kingdom in Japan. I think he's going to do more New Japan shows, which is, you know, he should. You know, he's the world champion. He shouldn't be like an outsider. He can appear like here and there on AEW, you know, maybe in an angle at Full Gear or something leading up to World's End. But I said it last time. I think that the eventual match between them should be at Wrestle Kingdom for the IWGP title. So the unified title is not at stake. I wouldn't do it because it happens so close.
Drop that to Bandido then?
Oh no, I'm not saying that, because I believe the unified title still follows like the continental half of it, so it still is intact when the C2 is on. But my point is that the C2 takes place late December, the final. So we presume Okada is either going to lose the title in the C2 or he's going to retain it by winning the C2 back to back. So assuming he goes into Wrestle Kingdom as the unified champion, he shouldn't put it on the line, because I think that's when the biggest, you know, that's when the box office match happens in Japan. It's New Japan's WrestleMania, it's New Japan's All In. So Takeshita should go into Wrestle Kingdom as the champion, and his opponent should be Okada, making his return to New Japan. And then Takeshita should retain, I think. He needs to have a longish run with the title, because like Zach's run with it like wasn't really that long. It was quite sudden because Goto got injured. So I think Takeshita needs to sort of bring some, you know, notoriety back to the belt. Put someone over, like, I don't know, like a young lion in, like, not young lion, but like, you know, someone who's deserving of that honor in New Japan. Because as much as I hate to admit it, like, you know, they are not the same powerhouse as they were like 5-10 years ago. They have lost a lot of star power. They're not really selling tickets that well. Like they're just not hitting as much as they used to. They can, because the booking style lends itself to be like as good as it was. But that's why I don't really have a problem with Takeshita winning the title, because he's the best. He's a member of their roster.
He is, but he needs a win, because I've just checked, and Brett, even your poll that you posted yourself on Twitter now has my boys. Oh, can you see it? My boys
it's still
winning.
very early, okay?
Oh, you've done this.
Okay, so even without
Yeah.
my supposed biases, which I'm sorry don't exist,
Mm-hmm.
your boys are still losing, and Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks are still winning this. So
Give it time.
I'm just saying.
How long's the poll open on?
Could do with a win.
1 day.
I put it on for a day.
A day.
Yeah.
24 hours.
So
we could, by the time this goes out, depending on when we put this out, it might be finished.
it probably will be finished by the time this goes live. So
yeah,
sorry to any listeners, but
what else happened in that? What match was next? Was it the men's world title?
it was the world title match, which again,
straight to that.
Yeah, Hangman Page and Samoa Joe. Despite your feelings about the build, because it was very thrown together, I do think that this was one of those ones which was sort of affected.
It was thrown together. I think the whole sort of he's never beaten Joe, and Joe helped him.
I know, but
That's...
what I mean is like I don't think this was the initial plan. I wonder if Hangman was supposed to fight like someone else, and whether they had to shift because of what happened to Ibushi and maybe with Andrade or whatever else. I wonder if
Wardlord, Jay White, maybe
maybe not ready to come back, or something, or MJF having filming commitments or something. Yeah. So, I mean,
Brett, you go first for this one. We've talked over you a lot.
No, sorry. Yeah, I mean, say what you want about the build. I mean, I think the match was pretty good. I mean, hard hitting. Like this was a slugfest from start to finish, and it picked up towards the middle, towards the end. I mean, I love that spot where Joe is just beating up on Hangman, and then Hangman just explodes like, "Come on, motherfucker!" and just like hits him with all the forearms and whatnot. And I love the finish of this match. Like, I don't think we've seen Hangman do this yet in AEW. He had to use not one, not two, but 3 buckshot lariats to take out Joe for the win. And, here I am thinking it's going to be a by the books, world title match. I mean, it's a good showing for Hangman. The hands are raised, crowd is cheering, babies are thrown up in the air in glee and joy. And then we should have known something was coming up when Joe still had the hand in the wrist of Hangman and just takes him out with a huge lariat. And
well, I mean, obviously with Joe it makes sense because he's been you can argue that he does some of his best work as a heel, but I was not expecting Shibata to join him. I thought Shibata would say, "Joe, what are you doing? Stop," because Shibata's, as to my knowledge, never been a heel. At least I can't recall a time. Maybe he was at a time when I wasn't watching, but someone will correct me.
Shibata does have history with Bullet Club, though.
He does,
which
Hangman
was part of.
He was part of, but he wasn't. He's not in Bullet.
So we could say there's like lingering animosity there.
Well,
so
maybe,
he
but
wasn't a heel. He was
a heel. Shibata was just. I was more shocked at that than I was about the Joe turn. But no, I mean, like, fair play. Taking a risk. Talk about taking a risk and like it sort of paying off because the crowd were chanting "Fuck you, Joe! Fuck you, Joe!"
Yeah, it was amazing. Joe as a heel.
But I mean, he does some of his best work as a heel. But you know what will happen is that he'll try and be like this vicious, savage heel. I do think we're going to get Hangman Joe 2. I think we are going to get like another, like a rematch at some point. Because he said, didn't he? He said like, that's coming back to me. Or that's going to be mine again. So, I mean, fair play. Because I did want like a long-term story like coming out of full WrestleDream, going into like Full Gear and World's End. So if they're going to run this for a little longer, then yeah, sign me up. But what will happen is that Joe will get cheered within 2 months, even if he's getting booed like maybe the first week or two. But then people, just because of who he is, he's fucking Samoa Joe. He'll just get cheered.
Yeah, no,
because people love
anyone
savagery.
Else, I would agree. But Joe will, if Joe wants the crowd to boo, the crowd will boo.
Mm-hmm.
They won't cheer him until he wants them to. No, this isn't MJF. This is Samoa Joe, and if he wants to be a booed heel, that's what he's going to be. He'll have people trying to murder him in the ring if that's what he wants.
And I think it's the fact that he's going up against Hangman Page is where people are going to boo him. Like that. Yeah. That's what counts most. Like
he's corrupted Shibata and Hobbs. We need Fur Cut Hobbs back, by the way, because damn.
Well, you know, before we talk more about the World Heavyweight title scene, like, so now, you know, we have the trios match on Wednesday for the title, like, holy shit, like, just now the dynamics have changed where the Hurt Syndicate are face and the Ops are heel, like, but just look at the cross matchups that we're getting. Yeah. We're going to get Hobbs and Lashley, and we're going to get freaking Shibata and Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah, man.
Like those two squaring up. Like, what I need after that match, I need singles matches after this match. Like, I need 100%. A one-on-one of Lashley and Hobbs and Benjamin versus Shibata.
Oh, God,
I mean,
and a promo battle of MVP and Samoa Joe.
Oh God, yeah. Like,
honestly,
if you want to kill me, if you hate me and want to kill me, that's how you do it, boys.
Whoever is running the bleep button in the back, they just better just be ready. Like,
do we think that the Ops are losing the trios titles on Wednesday then, or do we think that it's not their time?
I actually have no idea.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding hard to predict, actually, is because the Hurt Syndicate have just come off a big win. Joe's just come off a big singles loss, but he's still a trios champ. So either you have the Hurt Syndicate, like, they capitalize on the momentum that they're riding at the moment and belt them up, because let's face it, like, they are a proper trio. Like, the trios division felt like it's sort of gradually on the verge of a comeback, because we have, like, obviously LFI, we have incarnations of, like, other tag teams that I've said, like Dalton Castle and the Outrunners as well. We got, like, the Demand, you know, could make a case for, you know, a future title shot soon. The Ops are still, but if Joe, my point is, if they're going to run Hangman and Joe, like, as a singles program, then to me it makes sense that they're dethroned. But where they've just turned heel, they also need a big win. So it's kind of like they're in a bit of an odd position at the moment. So I don't really know which way it's going to go. I'm really interested to see how they go with it.
Yeah, it's a tough call to make, because I would say if the Ops were still face, then I would have gone with the Syndicate winning. But like you said, they just turned heels, so I think it would be kind of a little detrimental to the group. Like, you do this drastic heel turn at the pay-per-view, then just to lose your trios titles a few days later. Like, no, I would say not yet. I mean, maybe outside interference from another team that cost Syndicate the match. We'll see on Wednesday how it turns out. But no, I think it'll be way too soon. But I think, like, listen, whatever the plans were for Hangman as far as, like, opponents, like, maybe they were hoping it would be a Jay White or an Omega, but just because of injury concerns or health reasons, that's just not available right now. Samoa Joe is the break glass in case of emergency for AEW. That was the case when Joe took the belt off of MJF when MJF needed time to heal up, and then Joe was the perfect opponent for Swerve to overcome 100%. And beat for his first world title. So I think, you know, if you were a little down on Hangman Page's world title reign since All In, you've already been brought back up because of Samoa Joe, and I mean, it's going to be the saddest. It's going to be one of the saddest days in the IWC, because I think Samoa Joe, he confirmed on a podcast earlier this week that if and when his AEW contract does run out, more likely he's gonna retire
in 2027.
But we've got a good year and a half left of Samoa Joe on our screens. So,
and let him be the vicious, nasty little bastard that he loves to be.
Tony will book a retirement tour for Samoa Joe better than any retirement tour we've ever seen. I can guarantee, and
he won't need AI to do it.
He won't need AI to do it. it will rival Sting's. That's what's going to happen, isn't it? Like, over the next few years, we're going to see both the Fed and we're going to see AEW booking, you know, retirement tours for, you know, the wrestlers.
Well, AJ Styles is got Christopher Daniels is already finished.
Oh yeah, Daniels is finished.
Two big
Brian
ones,
Danielson's,
Samoa Joe and AJ Styles.
You know, I don't know whether Brian Danielson's is fully finished yet. I think we'd know if he was, like, fully 100% done.
Man's a goddamn liar. I don't believe a damn word that clam digger has to say.
If the sky was blue, I'd go outside and fucking check.
We know obviously that, you know, wrestlers from that sort of that era are probably going to be winding down pretty soon. Like AJ, as we've already mentioned, like Joe.
I'm doing it now with John Cena.
Randy Orton's is going to be coming up pretty soon, I'd imagine. Copeland and Christian is probably going to be pretty soon, I'd imagine.
Roman Reigns is soft quitting right now.
Well, you know, he never turns up for work.
Breaking news, Roman Reigns just returned.
Oh,
he has more fucking returns than matches this year.
this minute, and
No,
then
I'm
left.
kidding. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
No, it's bad.
he
It's
has
worse
more.
than Andrade.
Oh no! I thought you were pointing out Roman Reigns has returned more times than
Well,
fucking Sarah Stock tweeted in the
Retired
last
doesn't
24
mean
hours.
gone because
Yeah.
Sting retired.
I
And
know.
he's just fucking rocked up with a bat.
Well, speaking of
So,
break
look,
glass in case
amazing.
of emergency, can we talk about the main event now? Do you reckon that's? I think that was a good segue.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Excellent,
I
well done.
was.
Well, hold
I
on,
mean,
real quick before we talk about the main event. Everyone whose kids are in the room, tell the kids to go to their room, cover their ears. This is rated TV 14. Okay, this is not child. Just real quick before we talk about the match, it is not fucking Tony Khan's job or AEW's job to put on content that is family friendly to the kids. It's TV 14. Okay,
Yeah.
fucking morons.
They should.
man.
Oh, they should give a warning. They do. It's called the
Yes.
ratings.
yeah,
Yeah.
What the fucking there for? You blind
it's the parent.
shit.
It's the parent's job to mandate what their child is watching
It's got the same
and when.
energy of, oh, my kid played this computer game and he was murdering prostitutes. Well, who fucking bought him it?
No, that's
Who
it.
bought
Yeah,
him the
it's not their
pay-per-view?
money; it's your money, isn't it?
And she's now going, that's what I said. I said it was the parents' responsibility. No, you said a lot of shit, girl.
Did you
That
see
is
she
not all
was
you
also
said.
dragging Amanda Hubert through the mud as well, like trying
One
to.
of the nicest
I know.
people, and then she posted this photo. I'm so unbothered. I've taken my trousers off and I'm lounging with my plants. I was like,
I know.
girl,
Y-
you
y-
have gone to so much effort to show how unbothered
But
you
she-
are. I kind of admire that.
That's not all. The most hypocritical thing about the whole thing was that she was ragging on the fact that kids shouldn't watch this and stuff. But when she was in TNA, granted, I had to look her up actually and actually find out what her name was because I genuinely forgot. Like I didn't realize that she even had a wrestling career like after that. So yeah, she was a BTEC Gail Kim, which is not exactly a compliment if you ask me. But no, when she was in there, fucking Vince Russo booked her in some kind of hardcore match where she was strangling some other, another woman's wrestler. I don't see the same energy for that. Do you? No one was complaining
No, she's not
then.
just talking about this now. Everything. People are asking her, well, what about this match? What about this? What about them thrown off the edge of the cell? What about that was dumb? Okay, well, what about when they did this hardcore? That was dumb. Well, she doesn't fucking like wrestling.
Exactly. Clearly, because she worked for AEW for a little bit, but she got let go like 6 months ago. So again, it's clearly, like Gail Kim was obviously not back for a job because why else would you be having those kinds of like meltdowns, and targeting like AEW just conveniently when there happens to be no other wrestling on that weekend, apart from Mystery Wrestling. But no,
yes, that was amazing.
why else would you do that unless you were just looking for clicks and engagement and to sort of stroke your own ego? Literally, I'm glad she got fired. I'm just saying that now. I'm glad she got fired because she seems like just a total nutcase. So.
Yeah, it's getting.
But she said the most hypocritical bit was that in that bit where she was strangling them, someone pointed it out to her and she said, "At least my tits look good."
My tits look great. Well, all right. Do you want a fucking gold star?
It's like, well, good for you, pal. Do you want the
She's
toffee?
doing the thing where she said something stupid. She's now embarrassed and she's
doubling down.
She's overcompensating by going, I'm
She
so
done double,
unbothered. Like, oh my god, my
quadruple
tits look.
down by now.
I'm trolling. Lol. Everyone's triggered.
No.
Well, they're cringing. They're sad.
Trolls don't announce when they're trolling.
Yeah, they don't take their pants off and pose with their plants.
Girl. Oh yeah,
No, come
this
on.
is
You're
what my
doing too
life looks
much.
like now, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, naked with a cactus. Or
Sounds
whatever.
pretty
I don't
boring
know
if you
plants.
ask me.
I'm sorry,
It
Hangman.
sounds like someone needs a job. I think TNA's hiring. So
yeah.
AEW
Anyway.
aren't though. Just ask Gail Kim.
Yeah.
All right.
Jesus.
But speaking of that match, come on. Now I loved the main event.
Mhm.
I will never fucking watch it again. That bit with the skewers.
Oh god, yeah. No,
can't do it.
honestly.
Can't do it. Sorry. That
I was literally
I
like.
had my trusty comfort strawberry
Yeah.
and I watched
I
how
I
messaged
don't
Lucy.
cover my
I
eyes
was like,
much,
oh, the skewers.
when
Oh,
I
the
did.
fingernails. Like,
it
ah.
was too no.
I don't turn
It's-
my head away from a wrestling like match unless it's like the Fed because like that shit's unwatchable. But with like a moment like that under the fingernail, I was immediately like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
Can't bother.
logically, I know, of course, he's not actually jamming a skewer under his. I know he's not, but it's like the needle spot with Swerve and Hangman. Yeah, I know. Logically, it's safe. You can explain to me a million times over why it's safe. I will still get that horrible jelly feeling of nope. That
Can't
was
do.
worse to me than that and the throw.
Oh,
the
yeah,
horror
the throw
I felt
from-
when Claudio was. I thought he was thrown for the tables and then he turned around.
yeah.
I was like,
throw
He's
it through
not.
the announcer. He did that
Wait, is
once,
he?
and they had no commentary for like 10 minutes because they screwed. Yeah, he threw him so hard and so fast.
Oh my
But that
gosh.
sold
Fucked me
the
up.
effects of the match. I
He
was like, oh my
bounced.
god,
He
I know
bounced off that.
that table
Someone
did not play.
someone had a video I saw on TikTok, like sitting front row behind the announcers, like when he got there, like he bounced like that. I mean, the fact the table didn't break was just insane. But oh my
I
god.
hate it. But
Yeah,
It
the
just
terror, that was
furthers the notion
most scared I was.
that Claudio is the sickest member of the Death Riders. I don't care what it says.
100%.
It's a build off of that real quick. Like the tone of the match with Moxley is what got me, was that it started off like, you go back to Wednesday, that bit of them doing that promo segment in the jail, kind of like a la like the Dark Knight of the Batman and Joker.
Yeah,
Just saying like neither one of us is gonna quit first. That was excellently produced. Whoever did that, like give them a
Yeah.
raise.
it was
like
brilliant.
But I just love how as the match progressed, like Mox transitioned to more of he was more sympathetic and more just like a concerned parent in a sense for Darby. Like, I don't want to do this to you. All right, I don't want to fucking do this to you. And then he's telling the ref like, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's out of his fucking mind. Just stop the match. Like he's showing more concern and more like just worry for Darby's well-being, more so than Darby himself is showing more concern for his well-being. And I wonder if that will play in to the Death Rider storyline going
you've
towards
gone
in
soft.
the future.
You can
I
imagine
disagree.
Claudio going like,
That's
you've gone
not what's
soft,
gonna do it.
Moxley.
No,
You know,
that's what Mox wants you to think, that he's concerned for Darby. I don't think that's why he was doing it. It was sheer fucking cowardice.
you think he was actually
Because he's
like,
there, I won't quit, says Mox. You've tapped to Hangman twice, pal. You will quit the second you haven't got your pals behind you. The second you are backed into a corner and alone, you quit. And that's it. He's like, I'm doing this for your own good, Dad. No, you're not. You're not. You're doing this so you've got people behind you protecting you, and that's what's going to splinter the Death Riders. Marina is going to see him for what he is, a coward, and that's why I love Mox. Yeah, he comes across as this killer badass, but underneath, deep down, he's
sensitive.
He's a coward. He's scared.
Well,
love it.
I think there's some element in truth in Moxley having an of compassion for the people, because the whole impetus behind the Death Riders was to inspire, the people who are the heart and soul, so to speak, to prove that they are the heart and soul, prove that they can actually like stand on their own 2 feet.
That's what he said, and I believed it until not every time he's in real danger, he quits.
I mean,
he's a coward.
I
love it. I think when has John Moxley ever been on his own for any length of time? He doesn't. He runs and he finds a pack to join and to hide behind.
Not really since the beginning of his AEW run, when he first started, like that first year or so, like he was by himself. But yeah, like year 2 and on, he's either.
I mean, he was with Eddie. He was with Eddie for a little while. Like that was like a tandem. When he was like probably in his first run, if you like, with the belt, then it sort of like later in he had the match with Kojima. That was it. Yeah, so Danielson arrived All Out 2021. Then they formed the Blackpool Combat Club shortly after that, and since then he's been essentially.
And he
a part
acted
of
all
the big
reluctant
stable
to join, but he did. He joined fucking sharpish, and he's the one that threw Brian out. But how does we know the Death Riders are eventually going to break up? Who does it? Brett, is it Claudio that takes over?
It's going to be Claudio that I think boots Moxley out of it. I mean,
not Marina.
I think what's going to happen is Claudio is going to be the one to pull the trigger. I think Marina's going to be the architect behind the plan, if you like. I think that I don't see it happening yet. I see that they are good again. Like earlier this year, beginning of this year, I feel they were comfortably like the least interesting part of the program. So right now, people are really liking them because Moxley hasn't got like the title in like the briefcase. So a large part of their sort of heel heat has kind of gone away. So you can argue that they are on the way to possibly being but possibly getting a run with like another title, like maybe another member getting another title or something. I wouldn't be upset with that. But I mean, Moxley is the linchpin of it, but take that away and it's a whole, everything else is, completely different. I think the whole dynamic of the group changes, but I just don't think Moxley should go for the title again as long as Hangman holds it.
Well, no, he won't because he's scared of him.
Yeah.
He hasn't even. Yeah.
But he was scared of him even with the Death Riders with him. He was.
He was, but now he's. I think Mox loses his nerve. I think he starts backing down.
That's why I think he's. I think he's when he lets that vulnerability come through, which is not by design. It just happens organically. He needs someone there to keep him in control.
Eddie.
Exactly. That's what I. So that's why I think the Claudio User, because Eddie would never in kayfabe, he would never side with Claudio. Never, not in a million years.
Or Gabe fucking Kid.
Or Gabe Kid, especially now. But that's why I think if you're going to usurp Mox, Claudio needs to be the one to pull the trigger. Marina needs to be the architect. And then Moxley, when he's on his own and that vulnerability is there, Eddie is the one who needs to help him out.
But that leaves Garcia and Yuta. Okay, Brett, answer me this. Who do Garcia and Yuta go with? Do they stick with Claudio or do any of them go off with Mox?
Oh, man.
Well,
you know what? It's kind of funny, like, when I think of the on-screen interactions between Claudio and Yuta, like, Claudio kind of plays like that big brother relative to Yuta in a sense. Like, I always feel like he's the one that kind of like has to drag him around, kind of guide him along his way. I think Yuta stays with Claudio. I think they all stay with Claudio, honestly, because I think it's going to be a concerted effort by not just Claudio, but by Marina as well, like the 2 day one members of the Death Riders, to be like, look, on back-to-back occasions, on the biggest moments, like, Mox has given up. He is tapped out, and they will see that as a sign of weakness going forward. And especially you could play into it that they'll use Mox's words against him. Like, why were you showing all this compassion and worry for Darby in this match? Why were you trying? It looks like you were trying to protect them when you should have gone for the kill. You should have swept the leg. You should have finished them off once and for all. But no, you showed weakness. You showed compassion, and that goes against everything against what the Death Riders stands for. So that's why I'm saying I would hope there's a promo segment from Moxley, and I just want in the corner Marina just giving Mox like the longest 1,000-yard like death stare, like she's just irritated and pissed off. I want it to be the most subtle hints that they're gonna turn on Mox. I don't want it to be apparent. I don't want it to happen this Wednesday. I want it to, you know what? Let's drag it out to Full Gear. Let's drag it out to Blood and Guts, because if the Blood and Guts, let's say if the men's match is Death Riders against Team Darby, and this is the final blow off between Darby and Mox, that's where you can end it off right then and there. I mean, if you are going to go a direction of having a men's Blood and Guts, I'd rather have it the Death Riders, where if they lose, that's the final straw for Mox, where Claudio, Marina, and others, they've had enough. Like, and Mox takes the pin in that match, the decisive pin. That's 3 strikes, and you're out. The biggest moments for this group, you have failed. You have let them down. I mean, and that's where you could go into 2026 with Claudio and them running wild, with the Death Riders 2.0. Who knows? Maybe you bring Gabe Kidd back. Maybe Gabe Kidd is the one who helps assist in getting Mox up out of there, which would be kind of telling, because it was Mox who brought Gabe Kidd into the Death Riders during the summer to help out. So this has so much legs.
I would point out something that actually supports that, Brett. You're saying you tapped out this time, you've missed one. John Moxley once surrendered during Blood and Guts to protect Wheeler Yuta. Is
that right?
Do you remember that? I'm just looking up the date now. I can't remember. I want to say it was quite a while ago. But yeah, Mox quit because they were kicking the shit out of Yuta. And Yuta will be like, how dare you do that for me? The irony is that was the time he showed compassion.
The irony is that Wheeler's the whipping dog of the Death Riders.
Yeah, but Mox protected him.
But he did it by quitting. Wheeler, because of he got such a kick out of turning on Bryan Danielson. I don't think he'd spare a second thought for Moxley if he was in trouble. That's why, so I think Wheeler sides with Claudio, because Claudio's the one who's just kind of looked after him, like been a tough, but also fair, like big brother figure. But I don't think Garcia. I don't think Garcia only joined the Death Riders because he was lost and he needed some direction. It wasn't because of Moxley. It was because he needed a sense of belonging, I think.
But you're saying about a match at Full Gear, Brett, what match? Like, what's the match going to be that shows this? Like, what else can they do? Well, Mox has quit 3 times. You can't have the I quit match. Everyone banned from ringside, and Mox refuses the match, or
I don't know.
You know what? I think it's too early to tell. Honestly, I need to see the next couple of weeks of Dynamite television to see where they go from here. I need a couple of promo segments, backstage segments. I need to see when Mox is talking. I need to see the facial expressions and the mood from the other members of the crew because, like I said, I mean, they had all the numbers, but it was Santa Sting that came out there for the for the save. I mean, I love the white hair, the beard. Like I love the fact that he's accepted who he is now. Like you don't need to dye or anything. I think it
was
looks
quite
great with
badass,
with
actually, to be honest.
I mean, it looks fucking
Very
great.
nice.
He looked like a corpse paint Saruman, if you ask me.
yes, oh my god, I'm into it honestly.
No.
But that might be the last time we ever see him in the paint.
Did
He
you-
said he's not wearing it after this year.
This is
Yeah.
it. I think that's it.
Oh,
But it was
so
it
sad.
was. I think that was emphasised when he symbolically threw the bat to Darby. That's him giving
yeah,
him the keys.
Twatted Mox's knees with. God.
Yeah. So
Oh, shit.
but that to me is telling that okay, that's probably gonna be it. Like now, like Sting's not gonna appear anymore. Like unless
That's the
it's
literal like when he tossed the bat. That's the kind of like the literal passing of the torch, right?
the
there,
torch.
like,
Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, but
it's the same
that.
thing.
mhm.
So he's like Darby now has Darby will carry the bat now. I reckon he'll carry it with him wherever he goes. Like
Yeah.
with the skateboard and
Oh.
riding down to the ring on the skateboard, but with the bat sort of like in his backpack or where you're holding it around his
Just
shoulder or
like
something.
just like a sword holster. Just
Yeah.
pulled the bat out like
'Cause
when he's
that's
riding skate like. whip.
Yeah, that's what Sting used to do. He used to conceal the bat really well in like a trench coat, and Darby
Yeah.
could do that in his tattered old pink
Darby
jacket or
wears
something.
massive coats. I've got that big pink Sherpa jacket, and the hood itself is enough to hide like
Ex-
12 bats.
If Darby's gonna like have the bat just like Sting, I want him to have a trench coat like a long trench coat like Sting, and I also want one instance where
Don't get
Darby
caught in the
is wearing
wheels.
a Darby mask and Darby pulls off the
Pulls
mask
it off and he's
reveals,
wearing the
Ah.
Darby
and
face
reveals
mask.
that it's
Yeah.
himself. I would
I
love
fucking. That's
that.
my favorite wrestling meme of all time.
Oh
right
mate,
there.
it's
like
it's
New
one of the
Year,
best
New
ones.
Me, and it's Sting pulling off the Sting match.
And he's
Mask. It's
the fact that he did that in, I think it was 3 or 4 different promotions. He did it in WCW, WWE, did it in TNA and in AEW, and I think it's still one of those things that will never get
Classic
old.
for a reason.
I
It's
know.
like the Samoa Joe Nope spot. I will pop for it
every single
single
time.
time. I don't care
Yeah.
if they do it 20 times in one night. I'll still
Yeah.
pop for it.
No,
Alright.
again, as is the case on wrestling Twitter, despite a very fun, enjoyable main event, but that was prohibited by the state commission, which we talked about earlier. They couldn't bleed. They couldn't really do a lot of
okay.
the outlandish stuff that we were expecting.
But drowning is okay. And
But
skewers under the fucking
skewers
nails.
under the
That's
fingernails.
not okay, guys.
As long as he doesn't
It's
bleed.
priority
As long as he
spot.
doesn't bleed, he's
Yeah.
fine. But
Mm.
I mean, the ending did sort of. Obviously, people,
It
in
feels a little-
their
felt a little fast. I
never-ending
don't know.
sort of.
No,
Yeah.
it definitely
Did they
felt.
run out of time? I know there was more happened after because I've seen the video of that. But I don't know if it's somewhere else, on Triller, it ended quite fast.
No,
I
same
thought it
thing
felt
on
a little bit
Max
abrupt.
as well. Like, yeah,
It did?
I think
Okay.
on Triller and on Max, like, ended the same thing. Like, the win celebrated that it was over.
Yeah.
So quick, yeah, it was the same on my end as well. But
Yeah, that's all
no,
I
but
see.
like
It'd be nice to see a bit
Dan,
more.
like Dan mentioned, yeah, it was the St. Louis Athletic Commission that limited what they could do in a match. So it is what it is. They made the best of what they could do. But I'm it's not even the wild shit that they did in the match that is going to stay. I mean, like I said, it's the storytelling within the match that, like I said, Mox showing concern for Darby in the middle of the match, and I think
It's
that's
got
going
us
to play in.
arguing about his motives.
Mhm.
How often do you say? How often does a wrestler go up to the ring going, "What's my motivation?"
Mm.
Never. But he's got us talking about it now, which
Mhm.
is.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
right
one of
again,
those.
by
Like,
the way, Brett. Just saying.
like Darby is one of those ones. He's like, I don't care if you basically have to kill me. He won't quit. Especially Sting neutralized Death Riders, and again, the people will just inherently latch on to the 5% of something that they didn't like and use that as a reason to rag on it. Rag on the match. I'm talking about the finish. Like the Scorpion Death Drop in the fish in the water with Mox draped around like the flag and everything, and then giving up like that. I didn't hate it. I mean, it did in the moment possibly seem a little bit underwhelming, but that's kind of because I didn't realize about the Athletic Commission stuff. That's why I thought, well, this isn't as violent as I predicted it to be. I still enjoyed it, and it doesn't nullify any of the fantastic shit that we saw throughout the whole night, throughout all 5 odd
Hang on.
hours of it.
Brett, explain to me exactly what you're talking about with this commission thing, because I don't actually understand. Is it just that they're not allowed to show blood on telly?
So it's each state here in the country has their own athletic commission that has its own set of rules when it comes to was professional wrestling, boxing, MMA, like certain rules that they just engage in. I guess they're in St. Louis. When it comes to professional wrestling, they wanted there's no brawling in the crowd, no brawling in the crowd, no bleeding, no intentionally making the other bleed and whatnot. And I guess whatever dangerous spots that they had in mind, I guess they had to nix or axe. Like I said, it's out of AEW's hands, it's out of Tony Khan's hands, it's out of Warner Brothers' hands. They got to abide by
the rules, isn't it?
Yeah, it is what it is.
It's just like kind of like a governing body, if you like, for anything that's combat sport related. They have to abide by, and it's
so they
not
count wrestling as like a real sport.
Well, it's
in a way, but
it's
like
six of one,
not.
half a dozen of the other. It is entertainment. It is like a show, but it's just one of those things because of the the arena and the people who are attending and everything. They just that's why you can't, in some places you just can't like interact with the fans. You can't like fight through the crowd. You can't bleed. You can't set people on fire. But if it was in Texas, on the other hand, they don't give a fuck. They want people to die in the ring.
If it was in Texas, New York, or New Jersey, Full Gear's in New Jersey next month. If we would have had this match in Full Gear in Jersey next month, like I said, Darby would have thrown a Molotov cocktail.
Do they let you set people on fire in New Jersey?
Yes, absolutely. New York, New Jersey, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Wow. But I'm learning a lot today about American.
But another lesson that people could take away is that if you didn't enjoy you're allowed to not like the ending of a match. That's fine. Like, that's your opinion. Don't use it as an excuse to rag on all the cool shit that you saw up until then, because that's such a common thing that we as people do, like, all too much. We focus too much on the negatives and we don't focus enough on the positives. So I personally thought WrestleDream was a absolutely fantastic pay-per-view from start to finish. There was no bad moments. There was a couple of bits which felt a little off or a little weird perhaps, but that doesn't mean that I should essentially say 0 out of 10, 1 out of 10, the worst pay-per-view ever because of that 5 seconds in the main event. Like, no, just get your head out your ass. Like, just take a step back, put on a Cat Stevens record, grab a glass of juice, and just calm down. Just and
I'm
digest.
sulking because Mark Briscoe didn't win, but it hasn't ruined the whole night.
Right.
It was bloody lovely. Had a fabulous time.
It was a very good,
obviously,
very good show
Match
to
of the
start to
night.
finish.
It was one of the more consistent AEW pay-per-views. Like, it certainly, I think it exceeded All Out for me because of All Out having a very sort of different start. It started with, like, obviously Cope and Christian and FTR, which was a very WWE style match, and then it had the sort of rather flat Eddie Kingston Big Bill match, and then it picked up from like match 3. That's when it started to AEW sort of home run with pay-per-view quality, and like the flow of the show started to kick into gear. I think it never stopped. I think even from like the match 1 of Tailgate Brawl all the way through to the main event, it felt just really entertaining. There was only one squash match, and that was Kingston and Hook against the Frat House, who then later reappeared with Mercedes belts, which we forgot to mention. That was quite a funny touch, actually. But no, it's probably up there, despite the sort of questionable build and the possibly AEW not really doing themselves many favors having this many pay-per-views in a calendar year. Back from the years of when they only had 4 compared to now when they're having like 10, maybe 11. They did well. I think they give themselves credit because they always knock it out on pay-per-view. We always know they're going to deliver on pay-per-view. And I was thoroughly entertained. So let us know what you thought of WrestleDream in the comments below, and what you think is going to happen on Dynamite.
And what was the match of the night?
What was your favourite match of the night?
There isn't right or wrong answer. You say whatever you like, guys.
No,
there is no right
answer whatsoever. Okay,
there's no answer.
Oh my god, we should have had a dance off to decide this.
Oh god.
Don't you use your wiggly hips to
I'm gonna.
I'll do the CEO dance.
convince
There
them.
you go.
All right.
All right, guys. I
Right.
think that's a perfect place
Take us
to.
home. Yeah, we've been going on for a while.
I think it's a perfect place to end it. Guys, thank you for joining us on this WrestleDream review. And as episode 68 of the Groupchat Wrestling Podcast, follow us on Twitter at GW Podcast UK for all news and updates podcast related. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, GW Podcast UK, where we upload a number of clips from every episode every week. Your support is very much appreciated. We thank you for your time. And with that being said, I am that ball bro. That is Dan B. Allen and Lucy as well. Goodbye. Mwah, and good night. Bang.
Very nice.
Oh, we needed Mark